legacy Mr. Cooper has been, which is really more of a 95-mile-an-hour fastball over the middle of the plate. So they had more flexibility to be able to make exceptions, I'm sure, and take delivery on things that might have been a little sideways, but it was a high trust relationship. Today, to the point that I mentioned earlier, you can hit on all the operational metrics and all the long-term relationship metrics. Is it going to buy you more business? Yeah, a little bit, but I can tell you that the dollar, I mean, a lot of our correspondents are going to put the pressure on their post-closing to deal with some heartburn and some heartache to get higher price. So I think the challenge is maintaining a high level of profitable or profit margin and hit respective volume targets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other part of it is I don't see anything in the, like, for example, a few years ago when it seemed like there was a lot of regulation coming down on the mortgage industry. There was a flight from independent mortgage bankers over to the banking sector.
Yeah.
Because basically they had the manpower and the wherewithal to withstand all of these regulatory audits, and normally if you fell under a banking regulator, then really it's not like you're not getting audited by all these different state agencies that might have their own twist on how loans should be done in their particular state. So that being said, I don't see anything immediately in what I consider to be geopolitical environment, but that could change in a moment's notice, and that could change the landscape. So I would say what could be a challenge in 5 years or over the next 5 years, the commoditized environment of our business plus the geopolitical environment as it relates to whether it's banks or independent mortgage bankers. I mean, either one of those could be adversely affected. And I know we went through a period of time where banks actually were getting out of the mortgage business because the various regulatory agencies were opening up the books and saying, okay, you're doing all this wrong. You need to write us a check for it. It was almost like they were going after the big balance sheets and having people write big checks.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a shakedown. And frankly, I think things have gotten kind of on the right track as it relates to the regulatory environment, and banks and mortgage bankers are not afraid to be in our business today.
Yeah, I heard that said before. You're right. So, just thinking about instead of 5 years from now, just currently today, what areas do you think we have the upper hand over competitors?
I believe, and of course I'm speaking, and let me ask you this, Greg, are you in a legacy Mr. Cooper or a legacy Pacific Union?
I've been at Mr. Cooper for the last 4 years.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so here's where I'm going. Well, the reason I asked that question is I probably would code my speak a little bit different. Okay. I will tell you, historically, I've enjoyed the fact that our correspondent channel has been so flat. And when I say flat management-wise, that you have the ability to have a fingerprint or some kind of influence over our channel, okay? I think inevitably, whenever you grow and you have so many different people, whether it's operations or sales, you really almost have to have a more robust